It's the holiday season here in Greeley, and that means there's all sorts of things to celebrate, but it also means it's time to get the house ready, invite over the friends and family. But this year, we've got an unexpected and perhaps even uninvited guest to deal with. That guest is Greeley's own Clogmonster. So to talk a little bit about our Clogmonster and what's inviting that Clogmonster here, we've got Jeremy Woolf, who is the plant manager for the Greeley Wastewater and Reclamation treatment facility. So thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me, James.
So one of the things that I hear is a big part of this invitation process is these flushable wipes. It says flushable in the name of it, so they're clearly going to be okay to put down the toilet, right?
No, that's just not correct. Yeah, the flushable wipes that are listed, the flushable part of the name on flushable wipes is inaccurate at best. There's been one study that studied over 100 different brands of these flushable wipes and found that none of them will actually dissolve in a treatment process or system. So flushable wipes are anything but flushable.
So why do they have the word flushable in their name? That seems a little misleading maybe.
I think it's because there's been a greater public awareness of impacts to treatment plants and public utilities, and so there is no regulatory requirement that restricts companies from printing flushable wipes on there. So we believe they probably put them on there because it is more appealing to consumers that use those, and then consumers can feel comfortable flushing those, feeling that they're not going to have an impact on the downstream systems.
Well, that's really good information for me to know. So now I'm a little bit curious, now that we know that they shouldn't be flushed, when someone does take a flushable wipe and flush it down the toilet, what happens next?
Well, what typically happens is that those flushable wipes combine with other flushable wipes and other stuff that's in the system. A lot of it's fats, oils, and greases, some otherwise known as fog, and then it accumulates in the system, and it can cause backups in the collection system, which can result in overflows into the street or even overflows into the home. And it's extremely expensive to remove those blockages, and they also can cause damage to our pumps and equipment as they travel through that system, because those systems are not designed to handle those flushable wipes, and they bind up on our pump equipment and cause us issues there.
So that becomes the Clogmonster we talk about.
That is correct, the infamous Clogmonster.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple of other things there. So it's not just flushable wipes. What else can kind of contribute to this uninvited Clogmonster guest in our system?
Well, it's the fats, oils, and greases. Anytime we see, especially around the holidays, we can see a lot of grease coming down the system. If you have a turkey fryer, dumping your grease down the drain is not the correct method of disposal for that, and can cause significant problems by accumulating in with the rags and flushable wipes, and causing those blockages and backups into the home and in the system.
So in general, what should you flush?
Pee and poop and toilet paper only are the best advice I can give. Most other things should just be disposed of in the garbage, where it can go to just landfill or be recycled.
So now that's something I wanted to follow up and ask you about. If people are trying to keep things out of the landfill, wouldn't that maybe be better to put it down the toilet instead?
No, what happens is that when those backups occur and we have to remove them, all that stuff winds up in the landfill anyway, and it can actually add volume to what goes to the landfill, because we're disposing of some of the material that would normally be processed through a wastewater treatment process, winds up in the landfill with all those rags and flushable wipes that we have to remove.
And so is that something that you and your staff here have to deal with when that shows up at the treatment plant in addition to the pipes?
Yes, that's correct. We have some systems that are able to remove it, but there is a lot of pass-through, and that's what causes the damage to our system.
Wow, that's really interesting, and it's great to know going into this holiday season. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us and joining us here today to tell the community how we can help keep this guest out of our pipes and our treatment facility this year. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, James.
So if you want to find out a little more information about our wastewater treatment and reclamation processes and systems, you can find that and more online at greeleygov.com.